Alright guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another video on Talk Sooty. We're here to review our Matchday 1 UCL predictions that we made on Tuesday evening. We're going to be starting off with AC Milan versus Newcastle. But before we do that, I just thought I'd explain the rules. What we're going to be doing is a little point system. We get 1 point for the correct outcome, if we guess the correct outcome that is, and then an extra bonus point if we get the score bob on. So starting off with my prediction, I went for a 2-1 win for AC Milan over Newcastle, but in fact the real outcome was 0-0. So for me, in the first game, it was 0 points. However, in the game between Young Boys and RB Leipzig, my prediction was a 2-0 victory for RB Leipzig. However, in fact, it was a 3-1 victory for RB Leipzig. So we do actually get ourselves a point there. We don't get the bonus point because we didn't get the score bob on, but we get the first point of the video. Similarly, with PSG, my prediction was 3-1, a win for PSG. However, the actual outcome was a 2-0 win for PSG, so we get ourselves another point there to add to the scoreboard. However, in the Shakhtar versus Porto game, my prediction was 1-1. However, in fact, the real outcome was a 3-1 victory for Porto, which is fair play. Away from home, going to Shakhtar and getting a 3-1 win, fair play, Porto. In the next game, we get so close to getting that bonus point in the Man City versus Red Star game. My prediction was a 3-1 win, where in fact it was an actual 4-1 win. We were close. One more goal for Man City would have got that bonus point for us. But we've got 3 points so far, not too shabby. My prediction for the Lazio versus Atletico Madrid game was in fact a 2-2 draw. It did end up a draw, but it was a 1-1 draw, so we find ourselves with another point. No bonus point this time. And again, with the Barcelona versus Royal Antwerp game, my prediction was a 3-0 win. I thought they'd win big because I thought they were the miles better team. In fact, they were better than I thought because the actual outcome was 5-0. Fair play. 5-0 in your first game in the Champions League. I know it's only Royal Antwerp, but you've got to respect that. It's putting out a statement there, really. It really is. Moving on to the Feyenoord versus Celtic game, I went for a 1-0 victory. It wasn't quite that. It was a 2-0 victory, but it's another point on the scoreboard, similar to the Barcelona game and similar to a lot of other games. We're doing quite well at this, but yeah, it's a 2-0 victory for Feyenoord at home versus Celtic. We're now moving on to the Wednesday games, starting off with Real Madrid. We went 2-0, and I did say you can go and watch it back right now in the top right. Go and watch that. We did say Jude Bellingham would score. We did go 2-0, but Jude Bellingham scored. They got the win. There's got to be a half a point for that. No, in all seriousness, no, I just knew he would score. He's on that sort of form. I just had the feeling that he would score. And he did get another winner for Real Madrid, this time on his Champions League debut for Real Madrid. I mean, he's just stepping up to the plate, but the real outcome was 2-0, so we only get the 1 point now. Moving into Group F, the game between Galatasaray and Copenhagen. My prediction said a 3-2 victory for Galatasaray. I thought Galatasaray, they were at home, I thought they'd win. In fact, they didn't win. We get 0 points. It was actually a 2-2 draw. And respect to Copenhagen, getting a point away from home. Hey, you never know, they might just drop down to the Europa League. The second game in Group F saw my team, Manchester United, take on Bayern Munich. I went for it. I thought I'd back the boys, and I went for a 1-1 draw. In fact, it was a 7-goal thriller. United put in a shift, but it wasn't quite good enough. Mistakes cost them the win in the end, and we did lose 4-3, so no points in that one. And unfortunately, we're going to take that one on the chin. In the next game, we had a complete opposite of my prediction to the actual outcome. I went for a 2-0 win for Benfica versus RB Salzburg. And in fact, it was a 2-0 win for the away side, RB Salzburg, going to Benfica and getting a win. Fair play to them. Really got to respect that. However, guys, we have got our first bang on. We got our first 2-pointer. Napoli versus Braga. We said 2-1. And guess what? It was 2-1. So it's the first 2-pointer for us. And we take those all the way to the bank. Next, we have Arsenal versus PSV. In my prediction, I went for a 3-1 victory in favour of the home side. I thought Arsenal would win 3-1. And even though there was 4 goals in the game, it was actually a 4-0 win for Arsenal at home. Back in the Champions League and back with a bang. You got to respect that. Definitely take my hat off to Arteta and Arsenal. That's a big statement right there. The penultimate game saw Sevilla take on Lyon at home. And unfortunately, I went for a 1-0 win for Sevilla. I thought the home crowd would get behind them after seeing my side earlier in the year go to Sevilla and lose 3-0. I thought they would manage to get themselves a 1-0 win versus Lyon. However, it was a 1-1 draw, so no points for me on that one. And another one, you've got to respect these performances going away and getting a point long. Maybe just keeping themselves alive in their group. Last but not least, it is Real Sociedad versus Inter Milan. I went with the away side. I thought Inter Milan would win 2-0 after a very, very good campaign in the previous Champions League. I thought they would bring that momentum, especially the momentum they had going on in the weekend after beating their arch rivals 5-1. I mean, you don't do that every other day, you know what I mean? That's some momentum taken into the game. However, I went for a 2-0, and in fact, it was a 1-1 draw. No 3 points in that one for either side. Both take 1 point away in their group. And yeah, that is it. That's my predictions done. I don't know how many points in total we've got. It will be on the screen right now. Hopefully we can try and beat that next week. You never know. We got 1 2-pointer. We take it, I suppose. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know if you like this sort of content. But that's it from me. Sooty out.